How you doing? So this is how to make Groot the best champion in MCOC buff concept. Disclaimer, this is just my buff concept, so who knows how Kabam will buff Groot. This is just my buff concept. So how to make Groot the best champion in MCOC? Let's see. We can increase his damage is definitely one thing because one of the biggest problem with Groot is he doesn't hit very hard. So I did make a buff concept of Groot before, but I forgot a couple of things, and I'm going to tweak his numbers, increase some of his numbers. So I have two buff concept. One, let's start with number one buff concept. So, like I mentioned, he does lack damage. So we're going to increase his damage by 500%. So basically, 6 times of his base damage. So I saw Kingslayer take down Realm of Legends Winter Soldier with 6-star rank 4 using damage mastery in 2 minutes and 37 seconds with Groot. Obviously that's not good. So but if when you think about 6 times the increased damage, so you can say, not the most accurate, but it would be like 6 times faster, right? It would just make sense. So that means he will be able to take down Realm of Legends Winter Soldier in 26 seconds. That is faster than Cosmic Ghost Rider without boost. Think about that. So this is buff concept number one. So increases damage by 500%. And when it comes to unique physiology, allows debuff effects to be shrugged off 55% faster than normal. That would be instead 90% faster than normal. So if you have 2 points in dexterity, 2 points in limber, that means you become pretty much stun immune. This is also affects not only affects non-damaging debuffs, this also affects damaging over time debuffs. So that's gonna be really overpowered. Really good buff concept for him to be able to do that, and a really great utility. So that will make him the best cosmic champion in the game. Now, let's make him the best champion in MCOC buff concept. So when it comes to his physical resistance, that should be 100% at max sig. Not only that, they should be able to be permanent as well. A max stack of 20, that will increase his pretty much, will give him 5,000 physical resistance, as well as when it comes to special attack 2, double the regen on his special attack 2. So coming up with this idea is not hard, but the question is how, right? So basically, you see he gains these fury buffs as well as cruelty buffs, right? That will increase his attack and his critical damage. So what can we do is double the potency of his fury buffs, as well as double the potency on the critical damage rating. That pretty much will increase his base attack, his attack by 500% with a max stack of 20. Okay, keep in mind max stack of 20. As well as when it comes to special attack 3, as you can see here, this should be, instead will be critical damage would be similar to Hawkeye. So let's look at similar to Hawkeye, what I mean by that. What I mean by similar to Hawkeye. So where's Hawkeye? Hawkeye, there he is. So similar to Hawkeye, it would be, so not the first part because that would be too overpowered. Based on Hawkeye's critical damage, bleeds triggered during this attack can be critical bleeds, multiplying the bleed's potency by Hawkeye's critical damage multiplier. So basically, he will be able to crit on the special 3, and it will increase based on modified attack as well as critical damage rating. So that will be on Groot as a buff concept. So let's go back to Groot. Groot, where are you, Groot? Groot. Where are you, Groot? There he is. So that's going to be the special attack 3. It'll be a critical bleed damage instead, and it'll be a critical damage multiplier, and it will be modified, increasing from his fury attacks, increasing his fury attacks. That will increase his attack by 500%. So that's buff concept number 1. So buff concept number 2, we're going to increase his attack, but not as much, but we're going to increase his utility instead. So let's do that. So when it comes to his passive, so basically the way it is, by the way, it's going to be, this is based on a 6-star rank 5 from his base damage. So keep it at 800, increase attack at 800, and the cruelty at 118. But same as well with the max stack of 20. So this should increase his attack by 200%, meaning that will pretty much triple his damage from the way it is now. So unique physiology allows debuff effects to be shrugged off. Instead of 55% faster, it'll be 95% faster than normal. So instead of 90%, it'll be 95% faster compared to buff concept number 1. Therefore, you only need 1 point in limber, so which is pretty much mandatory if you want to have dexterity. Also, when it comes to special attack 1, which I forgot to mention, this attack pierce should be 100% of target's armor. This should also apply in buff concept number 1. But the difference with buff concept number 2, not only the attack pierce 100% of target's armor, he gains a cruelty buff. Not a cruelty buff, a true strike buff for 20 seconds. Also keep in mind he does have a synergy with Mr. Fantastic that will increase the duration of his buffs. Also, he's also a cosmic that will also increase his buffs with Thor and Captain America Infinity War. So keep that in mind. So for now, just with him without synergy, 20-second with a true strike buff when trying a special attack 1. That's really great because he'll be able to counter champions that can evade and be able to ignore not only armor as well as physical resistance as well, since his damage is based on physical resistance. What else? And it comes to special attack 3, it's gonna be see here, the problem with his is cosmic, right? So same applies, critical bleed, critical damage, but since he's cosmic and he should be going up against tech champions, some of them are robots. So let's talk about another way we can do is basically what we can do is, where's he at? Benopole. So what Benopole has, we can incorporate to Groot's buff. So basically here, so robots are immune to bleed, right? Except, what is that? Omega Sentinel. So while fighting robot, #robot champions, this bleed debuffs becomes a matching degeneration debuffs. So that's one way to think about it. So that will benefit him to be able to throw a special 3 and make him as well as damage mastery friendly. So what it is now is 3620, right? And that's not really much. So what we can do is obviously make it critical bleed. Critical bleeds compared to regular bleeds pretty much increase your, or critical attack in the in general increases your attack damage about 3 to 4 times as much. So also, since he's able to increase his damage from his fury buffs and critical damage, that can increase it even more to 4 to 5 times. So you're looking at about a very minimum at anywhere from 10 to 15 times the damage as you see now. So that would be closer to 50,000 or over 50,000. Keep in mind that's just his base damage. I'm not talking about damage mastery, including and increasing his attack from masteries. And not only that, including deep wounds, right? Including deep wounds, that which will increase it. Max deep wounds will increase bleed debuffs by 2.5 seconds. This is 3 seconds. Increasing it by 2.5 seconds, that will nearly double the potency of the damage you inflict with the special attack 3. So you're looking at probably close to 100,000 damage. Yeah, this is a 6-star rank 5. So you're saying it's not by much, but keep in mind that's from the base damage. Okay? That's without damage mastery, boost, synergies that can increase his attack, as well as the Venom Relic will also increase his attack. So when you factor all those in, you can be looking at probably upwards of 150 to 200,000 just on the SP3 bleed damage from a 6-star rank 5 with all those things. So that's going to make him pretty hard. As I mentioned, if it was a robot, it's going to inflict the same idea, but instead of bleed, it's going to be degeneration with the same potency. So basically that's it for the buff concept. So buff concept number 1 increases the damage by 500% and make him 90% be able to shrug off debuffs faster, and double the regen on SP2 and make what else? Give him physical resistance permanent, max stack of 20 will also increase his physical resistance by 5,000. And buff concept number 2 basically increases attack by 200%, but give him better utility. Give him cruelty buff. What is it called? True strike on a special one, but for 20 seconds. And against robots, inflict degeneration instead on the special attack 3. So better utility and 95%, be able to shrug off debuff 95% instead of 90%. So you can decide which one buff concept that you think is better. Personally, I think the second one is better. It doesn't hit as hard, but when you think about it, better utility, I think that will definitely improve him to make him the best champion in MCOC. Thank you.